Welcome to Two Women in Crypto, a weekly podcast birthed on a whim by two women who are excited about the cryptocurrency landscape and have a shared passion about empowering others to step into the digital, tokenized world of the future. We offer tips, tricks, and our own individual insights as to how to begin to navigate this shift. We are not financial advisors nor experts. We are just here to encourage you to look at the possibilities. So welcome to the future. You're right on time. Good morning.
Good morning, Kelly. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. And an hour earlier than normal, I want to send my apologies because the change came from my end of the spectrum of the world. For those of you that are used to tuning in to us at 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time, my apologies. But yeah, we needed to go live an hour early this day.
That's right.
So,
life happens, and Kelly
happens.
is such a trooper. It's 7 a.m. Pacific time, and look at her.
Good.
She's just glowing, beaming light.
All dolled up, 7 o'clock in the morning, just for you. No, I'm just kidding. It's perfect. So, well, you know, it's been an interesting week so far. I feel like you and I haven't chatted in a month.
Although I feel the same way. So, we had a lot going on in our lives this week.
Yeah.
But I do want to let you know what I did this week, Kelly?
Oh, well, good things, I'm sure. I know a couple of things, but
I tested positive for freedom.
Great shirt. We really should include that link for somebody to, you'll have to send me the link as to where you got it. It's not in our store, but we should probably put one of those in our store.
Well, it was really difficult, not to, I mean, I don't know what to do anymore, right? So it's just let me just get a t-shirt. And did you see what Nancy Pelosi said on mainstream TV? TV about China.
Sure did. Yeah, I did. That was interesting.
Yeah. So Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House for people who don't know how the world works. And she's the third in command to the United States of America. And she said on mainstream television, China is one of the freest societies in the world.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe her, go to freedomhouse.org. So, Kelly, guess what I did?
You did?
I went to freedomhouse.org. And I think Nancy Pelosi needs to be fact-checked.
Yeah, I don't understand. Again, we talk about the theater, right? The theater of what our media is distracting us from or leading us to, or what have you. What did you discover there?
Well, according to freedomhouse.org, I think that Nancy doesn't understand what the definition of freedom is. And it's concerning because she's the third in command for the United States of America.
Yeah, I would say that's concerning.
So according to freedomhouse.org, China's authoritarian regime has become increasingly repressive in the recent years. They tighten control over all aspects of life and governance, including state, media, online speech, religious practice, universities, businesses, civil society associations. So basically, Jinping has consolidated all personal power to the degree of tyranny. So Nancy Pelosi, is America in trouble? Because I think that should be the tagline of all of our videos moving forward, because it's funny until it's not.
Right.
And I get chills that run up and down my body because 99.9% of Americans probably don't even know that Nancy Pelosi said this. And
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just what the heck, man? What is it going to take for Americans to see the truth and to rise and to say something? to be like, you know what, maybe this isn't okay. Because once we move into complete tyranny, we have no more rights, people. Like that, it's over. You will eat what you're told. You will do what you're told. You will go where you're told. And they will do this underneath for the greater good.
Right.
So right.
Yeah.
So I just it's really hard for me not to get fired up. I'm 50. I've lived a great life. If I spend the rest of my 20 years in a gulag or something, because I can only test positive for freedom. I don't know how else to live my life.
Right.
I grew up gay in this country. I had no rights. Listen, folks, this is serious. And I just I don't know what else to say or do. But at the same time, we got to make fun of everything, right? Because we got to laugh and pray for our children. And I don't know. I mean, literally, someone told me they saw a kid in the airport wearing a cat costume, licking their hand because they think they're a cat. And that's not a mental illness. That's a personal preference. I just I get a little I'm just but these games that these folks are playing, we need to restructure this. And again, I think it's so blatant. It's in our face because the centralized systems are falling. And I have to believe that, because if they don't fall, we're going to live like Augustine Carstens wants us to live, right?
Right. Yeah. Do you want me? Should we play that video now? Let's just start it off right there. Or do you want to insert that a little bit later? Okay.
So right before Kelly plays the video, for people who don't know, Augustine Carstens, he is the head of the Bank of International Settlements. The Bank of International Settlements oversees all central banks.
Yeah. All right.
This is his plan. This is the plan, folks.
And I'm going to go ahead and include this link in the chat, just in case the audio doesn't play the way it should, and also for future reference. But here we go.
Now, in all our analysis on CBDC, in particular for the use of the general use, we tend to establish the equivalence with cash. And there is a huge difference there. For example, in cash, we don't know, for example, who's using a $100 bill today. We don't know who is using a 1,000 peso bill today. A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank's liability. And also, we will have the technology to enforce that. Those two issues are extremely important, and that makes a huge difference with respect to what cash is.
All right. Well.
Yep. So Augustine Carstens, he's like, look, we don't know who's spending $100 bill.
Hold on just a second. My mouse is not working to turn it off.
Oh, no.
Inflation is to carry on raising interest rates. We're going to see rising
Oh, my
rates,
goodness. What's going on?
Interest rates that will make the cost of borrowing go up.
Wow.
It can send ripples across the whole economy.
Oh, did you see? He said ripples. He said ripples across the economy.
There we go. See, there's always perfect timing, whatever was happening.
It should be like, meanwhile, Ripple is taking over the economy.
I mean, everything froze. I wasn't able to access it. So I apologize, but I'm going to have to go back and listen to that.
It's all good. Technology is great until it's not. We always say the same thing, right? It's just, it's a work in progress here.
It is.
But, Kel, it's super concerning, right? Here we go. We have the head of the Bank of International Settlements basically saying, look, we don't know who's using a $100 bill. We don't know who's using a $1,000 peso. But in the new system, we will have absolute control. And to me, one, he's so creepy. Where did this guy come from? Who is his parents? What's his bloodline, right? It's so creepy. And, you know, I have faith because I know when people lose everything, right, they lose it, right? And that's when the masses will rise. And it's unfortunate, but like what I'm seeing between Nancy Pelosi, the narrative with Taiwan, the raid for Trump, and everyone can have their own opinion. What I see is an instability and the fall of America. That's what I see. I don't care who's right, who's wrong, none of it, right? It's all about collapsing America so they can implement the fourth industrial revolution and monitor every move you make. And that's what this is about. And it's just like, and until people see it for what it is, like there's got to be that catalyst that shifts us into like a better world. And we're just going to observe for now.
Yeah, I had a really interesting experience this week. I was just kind of going through my personal things and looking at possibly getting a different insurance for my car, et cetera. And so I went and sought that out. And the report that I got back on my activity blew me away about the amount of hours that my car stays parked in my driveway. This whole litany of things.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. I mean, it was a very precise reporting on what and how I utilize my vehicle.
Yeah, because like, and it's such a good point, right? Because the more they can gather all of your information, they could be like, Kelly, you know, you drive your car like maybe 10%. So you're going to use your car with everybody that lives around you in a circular economy. No more capitalism. Our economy is moving away from goods and services to a circular economy. But don't worry, if you don't understand, it'll be included with the knowledge-based economy, and 40 to 70% of everyone will get retrained, and you will own nothing, and you will share everything. You will purchase the service. If you want to have a glass of water, you can have this for 2 cents. Just return the cup with the drone when you're done, right? I mean, it's kind of crazy, but this is what they want.
Well, we've been talking about it, and I think it's something that, you know, obviously has been happening behind the scenes, whether or not we realize it or not. But when you finally actually see it in your world, even though I've known and suspected or, you know, was just kind of waiting for the day, but when I actually reached out into the world a little bit and discovered how prevalent the framework is, that it was really it was a little bit shocking to some degree. I kind of had to take a moment as like, well, first of all, how do they know that? The only reason they know that is because of my phone. So only reason they know it is because of my phone.
Well, your phone, and then anyone who has new cars, it's all built into the car now, right? So Rowan was driving home a Mazda 2023 rental, right? Because our car blew up. So Rowan's driving home and she's got 2 hands on the wheel, take one hand off. And it's like, no, you put your hand back up on the wheel. They know, and they are reading your energy, your body. They know exactly where you are, exactly where you're going. And if you are only allowed to drive 100 miles a day, they will commandeer your vehicle and pull it to the side of the road, and you are done. And they do this in China because, you know, China is one of the freest societies in the world. You're only allowed to drive your car on Tuesdays, Kelly, and that's it. All the other days, you got to share your vehicle. I mean, I heard the World Economic Forum say, you know, with it, people's pension plans and 401k plans, you know what's going to save people? Kindness. Look, we need your money. You be kind. You be kind to everyone. You worked 80 hours a week, 40 hours a week to earn that money to maybe leave your children or your family some sort of legacy. The state, you work for the state. Don't forget that. And be kind. It's but this is exactly what they're saying. You can't even make this stuff up. And again, it's hard to believe that it's going to happen. So I'm hoping that there's still enough in people. There's enough of us that we will rise and we will steer the ship, but it is going to be bumpy.
Well, and we knew it was going to be bumpy. I mean,
yeah, we sure
we've
did.
been talking about that for a long time now. And I've been talking about it for well over a year, just kind of seeing what was on the horizon. And even, you across the board through the agricultural complex, I mean, all of it, right? What's happening with the farmers, things of that nature. And you shared a great video just recently in a group that we have. 2 Women in Crypto has a membership group. And it was the one from Sting, right? Where Sting was on. And this is what I love is when people of his caliber or of his ability to garner attention is speaking clearly about his belief system, how he's viewing it globally.
Right.
Not just in his backyard. He's talking about global. And this is a global issue.
Yeah. Basically, and he spoke at a concert, and maybe we could pull that video and add it at the end. But like he spoke about tyranny, and Eric Clapton is also speaking out. And this is what we need. We need people with huge platforms that are just well respected and can reach people. And as more and more people get educated and we come together, we can stop this from happening. So that's definitely like a very good thing. But, there was more good news though, just to kind of keep the comedy going. So Biden said there was no inflation this month.
I heard that too.
We have such an amazing leader. And again, the jobs and the economy is booming. No inflation for the month of July. And it's just like for Biden, I don't know if it's like deterioration of intellect due to dementia and Alzheimer's, or this guy is that manipulative. I don't even know anymore. It's like it's a show, right? So these people are so good at what they do.
Right.
But, hey, everybody, congratulations. The prices were so down this month. It was awesome. July was just a great month to go shopping, to get groceries, fill up your tank. No inflation.
No inflation. Gas dropped $1, at least in some places, yada, yada, all those things.
Well, that did happen. And I think they shut down 3 more pipelines in the Gulf. So the price drops in oil is going to be temporary. I'm really glad I just bought a big truck.
Yeah, right. But it's an older truck, so you're golden.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I don't think they can commandeer it and pull it to the side.
I don't think so.
But there is a way to get rid of the kill switches. If you do have a new car, your car does have a kill switch, and they can actually take control of your car. So if you have a newer car, just take it to the mechanic and they could take the dashboard out and they can rewire it. So no one should have control of your car except for you, because you own that car.
So many things.
Yep. So again, I think a lot of what's going on with the push of the rise of China to power, which kind of makes me laugh because they're having a huge crisis in China. Bank runs, Evergrande, the biggest real estate bubble in the history of China. China's not doing well. But again, it's all about distraction and moving people into the 4th industrial revolution. People can argue with me. People can say we needed to shut down the world. Everyone was going to die because of the virus. It's zero. That's not what it was about. It was about implementing 5G, Internet of Things, to move you into the 4th industrial revolution. So that's my truth. I've done research 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for a couple of years. I haven't been wrong. And if you think I'm wrong, please show me information. I want to be wrong.
Well, right. I
Okay.
think it's important to dialogue around it. So, and the more educated and the more aware people are on either thought, whatever that may be, the better the world is, because we're willing to talk about it, talk through it, understand.
Yeah. And like I said, Kelly and I are here. We're pro people. And it's just like when I see this intensity and the outrageousness of what's going on in the world, it's a mirror to look at ourselves and like, what future do we want to leave for our children and our grandchildren? Because, it's like Eric Clapton sang that song. He's like, he's just so worried. He feels like he's lost, we're losing. The kids are glued to a reality, a metaverse, a fake world. And like, how are we going to have human interaction with each other? We're social beings and we need each other.
I had a conversation with somebody this week, and it was like, really our phones are so addictive, and there's not one of us that could say anything different. I mean,
Nope.
They have got us hook, line, and sinker. It is our lifeline. It is where we go to decompress. It's where we go to escape the world, because it is the world for many people. And, I'm really at this point of, challenging yourself to put that phone away, 4:00 in the afternoon, your day's done, whatever that is, put it away, read a book, do a puzzle, whatever, talk to your family, converse with each other versus being on your devices all the time. And it's really not, everybody's there. Everybody's experienced that distraction. We all know what it's like there, so it's really something that is important to step away from.
Yeah. It's like me included, it's like we're all cyborgs.
Oh,
the phone
absolutely.
is an extension of our human body, but when is it going to be inside of our body?
Yeah.
And do we want that? Because that's part of the fourth industrial revolution. We're changing our physical bodies, which would mean that we are leaving humanity behind to become transhuman. So is this something that we want? These are always questions. We're going to really have to start diving into this, because it's like change happens really, really slowly and then all at once. So it's just something to think about. But with that said, Kelly, let's move on.
Well, with that being said, by the way, I want to do a shout out to Hope. Hope was able to make it. Yahoo!
Hey, Hope.
So
awesome. Glad you're here, Hope. So, we got the inflation numbers came out, and they hit 8.5%. So that went down from 9.1% to 8.5%. And there's a lot of talk about how we hit peak inflation running around YouTube and like some of the news. And I just want to urge everybody to be careful. I wouldn't FOMO into the market. The market pumped. Like I remember when the market crashed, a couple months ago, Kelly, Ethereum was down to $1,000. And now today it's at 1,900. That's like almost 100% gain. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't listen to me, but I took profits off of that trade, and I'm going to wait, because inflation doesn't normally go up on a straight line.
Right.
It goes up, it goes, down, it goes just like the market. It doesn't go straight up on a straight line. And like when I see that Congress passed the Inflation Reduction Act, and I think of sometimes they name these bills that do the opposite.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Inflation Reduction Act is going to create money out of thin air to give to corporations for climate initiatives. Okay. So the money isn't going to go to us. It's going to corporations. And I just want to urge people to read through it, because it's kind of like they took Build Back Better title and slapped Reduction Inflation Plan title. So I just want to encourage people to check that out. And again, it's just like for me, when we create more money out of thin air, that actually is going to increase inflation. Maybe not today, but maybe in 2, 3, 4 months. We have elections coming up. Whatever party is in power, they want to stay in power. So I can see them manipulating the market a little bit until, November comes around and things get settled, and then we could see a dip. Are you seeing the same thing?
Yeah, most definitely. I think this is a nice little run up, which is great, but I think it's also indicative of another move down because of the way it has moved. And just if you look ahead, look at the calendar, look at what's coming up, which you just spoke to. I don't think we're out of the woods in terms of another dip. And I think that Ethereum is going to be, since you spoke of Ethereum specifically, I think Ethereum is a great investment. But if you're sitting on the sidelines and you've got some cash just waiting, I would perhaps hold off just a little bit longer,
Yep.
Absolutely. Yep. I think we're in for another dip. But
again,
we're not financial advisors.
And we're not financial advisors. I think that's such a good point too, because it's just like, well, if I look at Ethereum being 1900, if I'm looking at holding Ethereum for 5 to 10 years, great. I'll just dollar cost average in every time I get paid. I buy a little bit more of Ethereum, so you don't have to worry about the price. But if I'm, if I have my long-term bags that I'm holding and I'm looking to do some swing trades, like for me, like I'm out. I'm already out. We know the merger is going to be complete September 19th. They're still on time, Kelly. Great news, right?
That's interesting.
So
yeah.
the ETH MERGE is on time. So it's kind of like and we'll watch this is like such a good time for all of us to watch the charts to see what happens. So is this, buy the rumor, sell the news, or is this actually going to propel Ethereum to another level of heights? We don't know for sure, but it's usually buy the rumor, sell the news. It goes down, we buy back in, it goes back up. So we can just watch and see and just keep talking about this. But I do think we have a good opportunity to keep running up until the merge actually happens. And then we'll see the markets, dip down. And again, with passing this almost $4 billion Inflation Reduction Act, I don't know if it's going to do what they're saying it's going to do. So again, if inflation numbers go up, the markets will go down. Okay. So we saw a pump in Bitcoin and Ethereum and some of the other cryptos because inflation went from 9.1 to 8.5%. But what happens when that flips?
Right.
So we just want to keep an eye on that. Awesome. So, what was really cool too this week, and something like Kelly and I have been talking about, is like having like the year of acquisitions and mergers.
Yep, we knew it was coming.
So when I look at the companies that are doing the best throughout this bear market, it's Ripple, FTX, and crypto.com. So we really want to keep an eye on these companies and see what they're doing. Ripple Labs, which is the part of Ripple that created XRP, they are looking to purchase Celsius.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. So it's rumors and they are talking about it. So, when we look at, from Ripple's perspective, they get their client list, their proprietary systems, their assets. They're so liquid that this would actually be a very good thing for people who got really hurt by Celsius. Right. Now, again, I know FTX looked at Celsius and they were like, it's so bad that they walked away, but maybe Ripple can work something out so people can get some of their money back, down the road.
Interesting. And I'm sure you would touch on it. I'm probably going to throw you a little bit of a left curve here, right curve, however you want to look at it. Anything on Voyager for those any new news for Voyager?
So here's the news with Voyager. If you hold USD, so United States dollar, you can transfer your money back to your bank. It was cleared yesterday because Voyager has a deal with the Metropolitan Community Bank. So you can actually go and get your money out. Now, if you hold United States digital coin or any crypto, your money is still frozen on the exchanges. But if you have USD, get it out. Now, Voyager is not in the same situation that Celsius is in, and all we can really do is speculate. But I'm hoping it's going to be the same thing. I hope that someone or Voyager can work something out where they can restructure their debt and you get some of your money back. Okay. So we'll keep everybody posted. I know, we've been just kind of watching it. And again, I don't know if people are going to get 100% of their funds back, but I'm hoping that you'll get some. That's usually how bankruptcy works.
Yeah, and a Chapter 11 can take quite a bit of time to filter out. It may be a few years down the road. We don't know that, but at least there's something hopefully in the works that will be beneficial for those that have their monies tied up.
Right. And I know there's always questions too. It's like, if Bitcoin is like 23,000 now, and then there's a restructuring of the debt, are you going to get your piece of Bitcoin or crypto at a much lower price? Or are you going to, in 2 years when Bitcoin goes through the halving and it's like 70,000 again, are you going to get that? Or are you going to get, so there's some questions there, but I don't think that Steve Erlock, who's the CEO of Voyager, I don't think he's a bad guy. He's not Alex Mahensky. I think Alex Mahensky was a con artist. And I listened to him every week on Fridays, like 1:00. Ask me anything, Alex. Well, these people, like when you're a crook and you're that good, look at our government, right? When you're that good at what you do, you can fool everyone.
Yeah.
And it's just, and that's why, like Kelly and I always say, right now, be your own bank. Get your Safepal, your ledger, transfer your coins offline, because we see what these folks do, and they don't have our best interests at heart. Like, we have to take personal responsibility to protect our money.
We do.
We sure do. All right. So let's see. Trying to see what else. You want to jump into Chainlink and just kind of talk about Chainlink for a couple minutes?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of my favorite projects.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I know we kind of talked about Chainlink before, but I really wanted to just go over, like, as we go into a bear market, and I see so many regulations and bills going into Congress. Regulation is coming to cryptocurrency, right? So when we choose projects other than Bitcoin and Ethereum, we want to make sure that they have an excellent use case. Okay. So basically, what Chainlink does is that it enables smart contracts to interact with real-time data. So it can connect legacy systems to the blockchain and pull that data off in a secure way. And what they're doing right now is they're enhancing their security. So just like Ethereum is going to be offering a proof of stake, Chainlink is also going to be offering proof of stake, which increases the amount of nodes that they have, and that increases the security. And I believe it's September as well. I think September, October timeframe, that they are going to be offering 5% for staking your Chainlink. Okay, so this is something we want to keep our eye out, because this is Chainlink provides a service that has not yet been able to be done. And because, again, when we look at some of these newer technologies, it's always like in the beginning of internet, it's not that great. Chainlink is going through a huge upgrade, and their services are going to be even better. So to be able to provide real-time data to make sure that if I have an agreement with Kelly and that agreement is on the blockchain, that's real-time data that cannot be fraudulent or really like not stabilized or secure. So this is really going to help Chainlink move its services to the next level, which is pretty exciting.
It is exciting. I think there's a really important point here to be made. And I know that we've talked a lot about this over the future. I think there's over 20,000 cryptocurrencies that are listed out there if you go to CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko. And the reality of that is that probably 90% of those will falter at some point.
Yeah.
And I think the next 6 months, a year, you'll see a lot of those soldiers fall, if you will. But Link is one of those projects that we would include, and that upper 10% or whatever that will survive, we really feel. And the same with the ISO 222 tokens. And I'm speaking very much to those of you that might just be tuning in, not knowing anything about what we're saying. But there are some very key projects that we would consider to be the blue chip tokens of the future that are not as speculative as some of the other projects that we might be hearing about. So
yeah, definitely. And like, again, it's like, and when you kind of like, when you have smart contracts, like if you think about like if Kelly and I want to buy a house and she's buying half the house and I'm buying half the house, like that's going to be real-time data on the blockchain. And like when you go into an agreement, that fee is Link. That's what the token is used for. Okay. And when you think about real-time data, think about an oracle, and an oracle, that's all Chainlink is, which is big. And Chainlink is the largest oracle for, decentralized finance, because everything up to this point has been centralized, and Chainlink is a decentralized oracle, the first of its kind. And everyone uses Chainlink, not financial advice, but like, I think Chainlink at the height of the bull market was $50. It's under $10 today.
right.
DCA,
dollar cost averaging in.
Do your own research. Don't take our we just tell you what we're doing, right? That's all we can do. And we encourage people to do research, because when I think about how young this industry is, and I look at BlackRock just getting approval to like come in with their big time institutional investors, this is our moment. Like we are right on time, and we are early.
That's what we say. We always say that we are right on time, but the train is clicking. The wheels are moving. So folks.
Yeah. And like we always say, like, and when I look at things, it's just like, like it's like really, really slow. Like, it's just like change happens really, really slow. And then once it's done and we shift into a new digitized, tokenized economy, and we are this, then like we're going to be looking at prices of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Chainlink and being like, whoa, I wish I would have bought some. And it's always the best time to dollar cost average when there's so much fear in the market. So when Bitcoin is under $25,000, sure, it might go down to 5,000, but it was 69,000. So, when we dollar cost average in, and there's only 21 million Bitcoin, right, Kel? So when all of these institutional investors come in, that drives the price up. It's going to be like, who knows what the price is going to be, but it's definitely going to be more than 69,000 in the future. My personal opinion. Okay.
Store of value.
Exactly. And it's kind of like exciting to like, for everyone that's joining us, because if you're here, you're obviously looking into cryptocurrency. I mean, this is the future of finance, right? Like they are building an additional layer called the blockchain on top of the internet and creating that internet of value so we can send value. It's just like sending an email. That's all it is. But we're going to be able to send like a digitized version of a hard asset. Like I could take a piece of gold and I could have a digital ownership, and I can take that digital ownership, which is also called a non-fungible token, and send it to Kelly. It sounds really complicated, but that's all it is. It's just taking a hard gold. Now I have a digital version of it, and then I could send it through the internet to anyone that I want, and it's stored on the blockchain.
And there's ways that this all happens, everybody, especially, excuse me, those that are new to the conversation, in a very, very safe way. As a matter of fact, we really should put on the docket another digital asset safety class, because it's really important to understand that what we don't want is, we don't want that fear of how you go about it and how you do it safely, keeping anybody from the market. You know, there's ways to go into it and knowing that your assets, your hard-earned money is going to be kept safe. And there's so many ways to go about that, you know, so just lean into that. And, you know, this is a great segue in terms of just keeping your technology safe. And we're super excited because we've partnered with ComputerDiva.biz. That's the website, ComputerDiva.biz. And I'm going to share the website here because I have been working with Computer Diva for years, and Mary Berger's behind the scenes. She has been keeping my technology safe for probably 8 years. She does remote work. So anytime I've had issues, I've been able to tap into Mary and say, you know what, can you assist me? All remotely, especially in today's world. But super, super valuable to have Mary's number in my contacts or in my sphere. I recommend people to her all the time. So we're super excited to have her on board with us here at Two Women in Crypto as one of our sponsors. And, you know, when we teach our digital asset safety class, we really do spend a lot of time talking about some of the services that Mary provides and how to use something like the YubiKey and things of that nature. So please, we encourage you to check her website out. It is computerdiva.biz, and she is helping us along the way, making sure that we continue to educate people like you. So thank you, Mary, and thank you for joining us, everybody who's tuning in.
Yeah, awesome.
So we'll announce a safety class again here soon.
Yeah, for sure. It's so important, you know, especially like, you know, we talk about the above phone as well. And it's just like, you know, it's like not your keys, not your crypto, not your data. Like, where's our data going? And like, what about like taking some time out and really cleaning up our computers? Because every keystroke, you know, so
Absolutely.
to have somebody like Mary on our team to keep the health of our computers, it's so important. Especially when we listen to Augustin Carstens and all these crazy people. Do they want less control or do they want more control? Right? So we just want
really,
to keep
really
everything
key.
clean.
Absolutely.
We want to take back our technology, as Ramiro says from the above phone. So for sure. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So I just wanted to go over the date again for Ethereum. We are looking at September 19th. Just want to keep that day in mind. So if anybody did buy Ethereum on the dip, we want to really, like, you know, in about a month, really start like gluing ourselves to some of these charts. And like, again, I think, you know, as we move to a proof of stake, and as people take their coins and they stake them and lock up, they're expecting 30% of all Ethereum to be locked up. That will be deflationary, which will push the price of Ethereum up. So I just want to keep things in mind. Like Kelly and I, you know, we always talk about like just dollar cost average. A lot of us aren't like, you know, we're not traders. We haven't been trading for like 20, 25 years. Like we're not experts, but at the same time, like we know that it's time in the market, not timing the market. So I think that Ethereum is going to be one of the biggest winners. They have a huge team of JP Morgan and Consensus. You know, they've been working with them from the beginning and did their ICO with JP Morgan and Consensus. You know, so it's just like we look at They're picking the winners and losers right now, and we just want to make sure that we have some winners. We don't need all the winners, right? We just need some, because I think like when you look at like a $1,000 or $2,000 Ethereum and look at the future of Ethereum and how it's going to be used, it's going to be massive. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think it's part of, especially when you're new to it, it's a little bit more difficult, but really fine tuning what your investment thesis is and what percentage of a portfolio you want to hold. And if you're just beginning to get into it, just really picking a few of the ones that we really know are going to survive. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink. There's certain ones that we know, they're pretty much a guaranteed. Of course, the world does turn and what have you, but there are specifically vetted coins, and there's many of them actually.
Yeah. And I kind of have this motto, Kelly. It's like follow the money.
Yeah.
When BlackRock takes their biggest platform like Aladdin and they're buying the spot ETF, their private trust in Bitcoin, okay, that's where you follow the money. Okay. BlackRock's larger than most companies' GDP. You know what I mean? Like worth over $10 trillion. So if they're backing Bitcoin, even though Bitcoin, what about the environmental social governance? I thought Bitcoin was so bad for the environment.
Yeah. Strange world.
I know. So it's not like we don't listen to what they say. We follow what they do, So if they're getting into Bitcoin now, again, I could see Bitcoin getting a lot of good news. I could see retail jumping in, pushing the price. BlackRock will pull the rug, boom, and then we buy. So I'm just hanging out on the sidelines, kind of watching how this whole thing is going to play out over the next couple months,
Yeah, I agree.
Patience. That's one thing I've learned about being in this market. Patience. And oh my God, we are so early. Right?
We are very early, and patience is key.
Awesome. And again, it's like, and if people just want to like take some time to educate themselves and paper trade, don't even use real money, or just like stay on the side, because eventually all the banks have been cleared. They can hold your Bitcoin. They can hold your cryptocurrency. We're waiting on regulations that'll be coming in 2023. We're going to have stable coin regulations, and then you'll see every major bank across the world will hold your cryptocurrency assets. It's up to you if you trust them with your money, because once you put your money into the bank, that becomes the bank's money, right? Think about Celsius and Voyager. When they needed your money, did they take it? That's called a bank bail-in. It's the same thing. They bailed themselves in with your money. So we just want to keep these things in mind.
Yep. Yeah, yeah, I was going to bring up I'm going to stay away from that political thread. Thank you. I'm just checking myself. It's all good.
Yeah. And again, it's just like, I think like when Kelly and I bring up politics, like I am for everybody. Kelly is for everybody. We are not Democrat. We are not Republican. We are concerned about the fall of America. We both believe our government has been infiltrated by the World Economic Forum. If you don't believe me, look it up. Go to the Young Leadership Executive Program and look and see who graduated. It's very concerning to me. And I think like when they talk a lot about democracy, like the more I educate myself, Kelly, it's like, shit, we're not a democracy. We're a republic. Well, what does that mean? And we have a constitution. What does that mean? And why weren't we taught these things in school? And that's all. It's just about re-educating ourselves, getting some knowledge so that as these systems fall and there's power grabs and they try to gain more control, we rise and stop that.
Right. It can be very polarizing. So it's a matter of trying to, for me, it's about understanding the whole landscape.
Exactly.
And like you said, being for the people. Yep. I'm for the people. Absolutely.
Cool. Yeah. Well, that's all I got for this week. You got anything else for us?
No, I think that's it. I think we're good. I think we're
Awesome.
good. It's been a powerful week, as they always are. I look forward to next week and announcing our next class. I guess until then, we're just going to buckle down, Buttercup, and
Hodl on.
hodl on. Your hosts for Two Women in Crypto are Andrea Caldero and Kelly Lair. You'll find more information and details regarding the Two Women in Crypto membership, educational and informative class and event offerings, and more via their website, twowomenencrypto.com. Both Andrea and Kelly are available for speaking events and offer private consultations focused on helping individuals navigate the future. Until next time, hodl on.